So another week has passed in the airsports and aviation world, and we have all the latest news and interviews for you. I'm Regan Tetlow, this is Airsports News. Let's go. So one discipline we haven't discussed much so far is paragliding accuracy. Unfortunately, the best pilots in this category are on hold for their competitions. The FAI has announced that in consultation with the organisers of the 7th European FAI Paragliding Accuracy Championships, they were forced to postpone the competition to 2022. The decision is based on serious considerations regarding the practicability of freedom of movement and the possibility of organising sporting events with a large number of people. It's not possible to postpone till 2021 due to the World Championships in Macedonia. So the organisers have now a lot of time to prepare for a great accuracy event in 2022. Hopefully the organisers of the Slovenia F3F Cup 2020 are not giving up and they want to hold on to their event this year. Originally it was planned for the end of May. Now they've declared a new date for October. More than 50 competitors want to take part in this unique discipline called F3F Slope Race. A timed speed event for sailplanes is flown on a sloping site that provides sufficient lift and a predictable wind. Each pilot flies 10 laps of a 150-metre course and is timed over that distance. The top pilots in good conditions consistently fly the 10 laps in 30 to 40 seconds. This pandemic has been an opportunity for manufacturers to introduce new products. Well-known paragliding manufacturers Dudek from Poland 2 days ago presented its new wing called the Hadron 3. The wing is intended for experienced pilots who know the behaviour of reflex wings and control them well. It is suitable both for paragliders and powered paragliders. One of the test pilots for Dudek is Paweł Lodziek-Kojewski, one of the famous Polish PPG athletes. We talked to him earlier.
Na szczęście General Aviation, czyli loty szkoleniowe, jak i te rekreacyjne nie są zabronione, więc można powiedzieć, że latam cały czas na bieżąco. Zawodniczo już w tym roku nie będę latał, ponieważ od zeszłego roku spełniam się w funkcji trenera obcej reprezentacji, ale wykonuję teraz loty, współpracuję z firmą Dudek Paragliders, jest to polski producent skrzydeł i przez ostatnie 2 tygodnie, można powiedzieć, podróżowałem po Polsce, ponieważ wykonywaliśmy ujęcia, jak i zdjęcia do promocji nowych skrzydeł, które już się pojawiły, bądź za chwilę się pojawią. I tak naprawdę to moje latanie jest na bieżąco. Mam tą, że tak powiem, mam ten komfort, że na przykład testuję nowe, nie tylko nowe skrzydła, ale również posiadam silnik, który będzie w sprzedaży od września i testuję go na bieżąco, więc można powiedzieć, że cały czas jakby rozwijam się, jeśli chodzi o nowe konstrukcje, nowy sprzęt dla wszystkich pilotów, ale tak jak wcześniej wspomniałem, problemem jest pandemia, która, że tak powiem, uziemniła troszeczkę pilotów, bo w Polsce jeszcze te restrykcje nie są tak duże jak na przykład na zachodzie, we Włoszech chociażby, gdzie piloci motoparalotniowi przez 2 miesiące musieli siedzieć w domu i nawet nie mogli wyjść, nie mogli latać, natomiast u nas w Polsce było to dozwolone. 2 duże imprezy w tym roku zostały przeniesione na 2021, klasyczne Mistrzostwa Świata w Brazylii, jak i slalomowe Mistrzostwa Świata w Czechach. Bardzo liczyliśmy, że te Czechy jednak się odbędą, bo one miały być w pierwszej połowie września, ale dość wcześnie decyzją organizatorów po prostu tę imprezę przenieśli. Mam jakieś tam pomysły, które chciałbym zrealizować. Mam taki jeden dość ambitny pomysł związany z Warszawą i mam nadzieję, że może w tym roku się uda, ale oprócz tego cały czas jakby teraz w niedzielę, jeżeli się uda, pojawi się w Kielcach na torze Kielce w Miedzianej Górze, gdzie będziemy razem z Pawłem Trelą jakby kultywować nasze drifty.
So here at Airsports News, we were one of the first media outlets to report on the postponement of the 23rd FAI World Gliding Aerobatic Championships in Leszno, Poland. Organisers declared they will publish the new dates and the championship schedule as soon as they are confirmed. We wanted to bring you more on this developing story, and earlier today we caught up with Mikhail Greschik from the Organisers Bureau.
So for the rest of this year, absolutely nothing still on the books. Everything's gone.
Yes, so actually our 2020 calendar is almost fully cancelled. We're supposed to start from May. We are organizing gliding national championships 2 times a year. Yeah, we expect to do national aerobatic championships this year, also modeling aircraft. So all of these events are cancelled or postponed. We're supposed to organize, if it will be possible, during September. I mean the aerobatic nationals and the model RC aircraft national as well. Leszno is a huge history. I mean the airfield, of course, it's a small town but with great history. So the Leszno held World Gliding Championships for 5 times already. So this year championship is supposed to be a 6th time, and we have a news for the next year that the Balloon Junior Championships will also be held in Leszno.
And the Polish public, they love air sports. When I've been involved in Wrocław with the sailplane Grand Prix and the World Games, tens and tens of thousands of people on the airfield, big carnival atmosphere.
Yes, I can confirm that. So the air shows are very popular in Poland, and when you add something for the public during the air sports, it's also very, very attractive for the public. And we have in Wrocław there is Gordon Bennett Cup also postponed.
Yes.
So it's only 80 kilometers from our site.
So the Indoor Skydiving World Cup in Belgium is now the only big skydiving competition that is still on the 2020 calendar. But some drop zones around the world have already opened up for business. To get an update on the skydiving situation, I spoke with Craig Poxon from British Skydiving.
So my good friend Craig Poxon, Chair of British Skydiving, welcome to Air Sports News.
Hi Regan, how you doing?
I'm great. How are you? How are you coping?
Yeah, okay. It's a really busy time for me at the moment with lockdown. I'm holding down my full-time job, working from home. Fortunate enough to still be working, and I work in IT in the IT industry, so I work from home a lot. So I'm doing that.
Let's just talk a little bit about what you would be expecting to be doing now under normal circumstances without a pandemic. That chair is British Skydiving. What would you expect your role to be right now?
The chair, the board are all about the strategic and the long-term development of the sport. So they're not involved with the day-to-day aspect of it. I'm trying not to be. We have an executive, we have a staff at British Skydiving at the headquarters in Leicester, about 10.5 people. Some work part-time, and they manage the day-to-day operations, the membership services, the running of courses, the day-to-day safety. And we as a board, we meet, it used to be 6 times a year. This year we were intending to shrink that to 4 physical meetings a year, but try and do more in between online, where we look at our strategy and our long-term view, and just try and better the sport really for all the participants.
What has changed for you right now during this pandemic? What are you doing?
So there's no skydiving in the UK at the moment. The government isn't allowing it due to social distancing rules. Bizarrely, probably working even harder at the moment than we would do normally. We've had meetings every week for the past 8 weeks.
I think in these conditions right now, the last place I want to be is inside a Twin Otter with a bunch of other people.
So yeah, I mean, this is the problem. So we have a medical advisor at British Skydiving, Dr. John Carter, who has been our medical advisor a long time, has been skydiving even longer. Very astute man who before we went into lockdown, wrote a series of papers giving advice about how to skydive, and it was in these times, and it was his opinion that you couldn't without that risk, and that risk proved to be too much, and hence the whole country went into lockdown.
And you can find the full-length interview with Craig on our YouTube channel. Because of the ever-changing dynamic situation in air sports events, we caught up again with Marcus Hagenay from the FAI and discussed this difficult situation for all the athletes and the organisers.
Tell me, catch us up a little bit, what's been happening in those last 6 or 7 weeks with you guys?
Well, what you just said is still happening. I mean, most events had been addressed already, but some are really still late in the year. So they remain on the calendar. However, we need to be realistic. They will all be reviewed right now. Second and third quarter, I would say 100% of the events have been cancelled or postponed already. And some are still somehow on the radar, but likelihood are not really high.
General aviation last week in the UK was allowed again. In the skydiving world, some areas are starting to jump again in the States, not in the UK. Paragliders are fine. You've been paragliding.
Yesterday.
Yes. I think we all just want to get back in the air when we can.
Of course. I mean, but there's a difference between leisure flying, individual activities, because there you can have your distancing easily. But in a competition, you have a lot of people in a very close proximity on the ground. In the air, in the cockpit, we are all far away, of course, but on the ground, all the logistics around that makes it.
Are you involved with negotiating for events that are being moved from 21 to 22?
Well, I mean, that's primarily a task which our air sport commissions have on their shoulders. I am assisting when it's needed, sometimes also for political reasons, to give our organizers the necessary support, because they largely depend on approval by their local governments, by their sponsors. So if helpful, I get involved also to give FAIs assurance that things are all well managed, also in another year if that event has been postponed.
So during this COVID-19 crisis, it's not been possible to maintain any aerobatic events. So the world's best aerobatic pilots have been finding new ways to be useful and active. Matt Hall is a third-generation pilot, a former fighter combat instructor, international unlimited aerobatic competitor, and the first Australian to ever compete in the Red Bull Air Race World Championships. Now, without any racing and aerobatics competition, he joined the Slow Coach organisation. This is the international platform allowing athletes to contact their coaches online and train perfectly, securing social distance regulations and restrictions. So if you're an aerobatic rookie pilot, you can record a video from your training flight and send it directly to Matt Hall. He'll resend you his video with necessary advice and instructions of how to become a better pilot. Some heartwarming news comes again from the United States, where California Aeronautical University conducted a flight over in Bakersfield honouring essential workers and the community spirit. CAU coordinated 5 aircraft to fly in formation over many neighbourhoods, shopping centres and major medical facilities. The Condor Squadron, made up of 4 World War II era T-6 trainers, led the formation in this amazing flight. So aviation continues to move slowly but surely towards full automation. The American FAA just a few days ago handed Piper officials their certification for the revolutionary Garmin Autoland system. The approval makes the Piper M600 the first airplane ever certified with a system that will land the airplane on its own without any pilot's help. While the system shows great promise to improve safety, some pilots have expressed skepticism about giving up control of the airplane to an automated system. So as always, the future is unknown. Also, the Textron company presented some really interesting news from their factory in Texas. What you see is the maiden flight of its new twin utility turboprop, the Cessna Sky Courier. This new high-wing aircraft will be offered in various configurations, including 19-seat passenger version or a mixed passenger freight combination. A possible new jump ship for all you skydivers out there? And now it's time for our Hero of the Week. This week our title comes to German aviator Matthias Rust, known for his illegal landing near Red Square in Moscow on the 28th of May 1987. As a teenage amateur pilot, he flew from Helsinki in Finland to Moscow, being tracked several times by Soviet air defense and interceptors. He landed on the Bolshoi-Moskovsky Bridge next to Red Square near the Kremlin in the capital of the Soviet Union. Rust was sentenced to 4 years in prison for violation of border crossings. He was officially pardoned by the chairman of the Presidium of the Supreme Soviet and released after 14 months in prison. On the 25th of May 1927, in Wright Field, Ohio, Lieutenant James Jimmy Doolittle from the United States Army Air Corps became the first pilot to successfully perform an outside loop. Also on the 25th of May, but in 1889, one of the most famous aircraft and helicopter inventors was born. Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky emigrated to the US from Russia, and in his new home he invented one of the most popular aircraft in the 20th century. Two examples being the Navy RS-1 Amphibia and the H-5 helicopter. Ivan Bela, the first Slovak aviator in outer space, was born on the 25th of May 1964. During a Soyuz mission, he spent almost 8 days in space, and his name was given to one of the planetoids circling around our solar system. The 26th of May 2010 is the date when the Boeing Wave Rider made its first flight. This is an unmanned research scramjet experimental aircraft for hypersonic flight at Mach 5. The one-of-a-kind Grumman Goose amphibian aircraft was flown for the first time on the 29th of May 1937. It was designed by Grumman to serve as an 8-seater commuter aircraft for businessmen in the Long Island area, but quickly became the most popular amphibian aircraft in the US and spread all over the world. That's all for this week, folks. Don't forget to give us a like and a share. If you have any questions or some interesting aviation news, you can just write to us at news@airsportspromotion.com, or you can contact me directly on Twitter. I'm Regan Tetlow, and I'm already looking forward to seeing you all back here next week. So in the meantime, stay safe, and don't forget to keep your eyes on the skies. Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky, or Sikorsky. Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky. Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky. Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky. Igor Ivanovich Sikorsky.